came out. I just have to tell you about them. The James Brown movie was out also. Did anybody see the James Brown movie? I'll tell you about that one. So the first thing I want to say about the James Brown movie is Chadwick Boseman. Baby, you know you worked that thing. This young man played James Brown, and you would have thought James Brown was still alive. He was that good. He did the splits. They used James Brown's voice. You know, they lip synced it, of course. But he was wonderful. You got to see it, okay? Now, having said that, I'll just say it was a good cast. They're beautiful. They had the shapely dances. Do you remember when they get up off this thing and all this stuff, you know, these sexy dances? They had all of that. Whoever put it together, kudos, baby. You did a wonderful job. But then, you know, I always have something to say. That's why I guess I'm here. The movie moved back and forth between flashbacks, which a lot of movies did that. I know Ray and some other popular movies did that. However, I do feel like some of that could have been left out. Now, I'll tell you why. James Brown was 74 years old when he died, and his big contribution, the reason why we're even talking about him, is because he was a great a leader with regard to music and trends and things of that nature. So I don't understand why we must dwell so much on the negative side of him, which if anyone saw Jill Scott, it was beautiful, but she got, you know what, she got it kicked. There also was the mother, who was just pitiful. You know, Viola Davis got de-glamorized. She's a very beautiful woman. By the way, Viola Davis is going to have a TV show this fall, and it's being produced. She had the rhymes. You got to see it. Okay, so I said that. I'm back to the movie. All right. Beautiful Viola Davis was de-glamorized for this role, and she was pitiful. You know, here she is, the mother, end of her life, and anyone who knows anything about the South, she had a rough life. You know, living in poverty in a shack in the woods somewhere, people being lynched all the time. Anyone that knows the American South, the history there, they can tell you it wasn't an easy life for this woman, and for James Brown as well. Okay, the movie shows some of the hard realities of his childhood and him growing up, and therefore, I guess that's the excuse as to why they show him acting crazy. But I'm not sure, but I think if we look back at some of the newsreels, he might have had some in the system. I don't know. A lot of musicians know about drugs. It's not just James Brown. But I just want to know why we must start the movie with him with a gun in his hand. I didn't think that was fair. You know, that's my gripe about the movie. No, let's not start it with the gun, because he wasn't really known for that. Why must we start it with that? But anyway, that was my problem with that. Other than that, you know, if we could have cut some of that down. You know, I'm not saying make him an angel, because so many musicians are not angels. So many actors and actors, they're people just like we are. They're good and bad, and they have their, you know, highs and lows. All right. Okay, but I just felt they could have focused a little bit more. James Brown was one of the most sampled artists in history. So let's talk about let's show some of the music, the way he's influenced the young people today, the beats that we have, how a lot of them came from his grooves. You know, let's look at that some more. And I didn't think it focused enough on that. I have to say that the filmmakers did a good job in defining the times, the musical times. You saw some raw footage, and it looked real, I'm sure it was, of Leslie Gore. Remember Leslie Gore? No, you probably don't. Okay, that's all right. But she's great. They showed the Rolling Stones, of course. They referenced Frankie Valli. It was great the way they did that, because you need that historical reference within the music industry to understand what was going on with music at that time. And they also showed the heartbreak of when bands break up. Now, James Brown was kind of like the Michael Jackson, and then the Flames were kind of like the Jackson 5. Okay, you can always use Diana Ross and the Supremes, same thing. There's always one person that rises to the top, and then the industry wants that one person, but they don't want the rest of you guys. The rest of you guys can go, we're just looking for James Brown. That's what happened to him, yeah. So, of course, everyone gets upset. You know, it's a little heartbreaking for both sides, because everybody needs to move forward. And, you know, he went through that too, which a lot of artists will do. You know, as they become famous, you know, that's what happens. That one person gets all the attention, and everybody else feels betrayed because they felt they stuck with this guy. But that's the business, show business in general, right? That's it. All right, okay. All right, so anyway, it's a good movie. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. It easily comes in a 4. That's right. It was that good. So go see. Get on up. And if you don't want to see, get on up. Then you would go to see the Michael Douglas movie. I bet you would like that. Yes, I saw it. It was wonderful.